this is Gary Klein, and I want to discuss with you a finesse fishing technique. Nothing new about it. It's been around for a long, long time. In fact, I'm kind of the one that started it out here in the Midwest fishing the BASS events. 1985, I won Lake Lanier, Georgia, fishing this exact same worm, exact same slip sinker. 1988, I won Bold Shoals, Arkansas in October. Same thing, same bait, same worm. 88, I won the U.S. Open on Lake Mead using the exact same technique. Now, I call it finesse fishing, but a lot of the people in the Midwest kind of labeled it as sissy fishing. But the thing about sissy fishing, I don't care what you have to use to get a bite, do whatever it takes. And there's a lot of times when fish get so conditioned that it takes light line in a completely different presentation to get these fish to bite. Now, one thing I will say about this technique, it's really only good in clean water, where you're fishing for visual feeding fish. Sight feeders is what I call them, because I fish this bait. It's finessey, but I fish it real fast. 6-pound test Berkeley fluorocarbon, a 3/16 painted weight. Doesn't matter what color you use as long as it's brown or purple. And I like to use an earth tone worm. A lot of the cinnamons and the purples, and I love the pearl belly. The pearl belly is real important because that's what gives it a lot of the flash, almost like a dying minnow or something when I'm fishing it. But the key to this presentation is all in about rate of fall. And when people start talking to you about the way they're catching the fish or the technique that they're using, the first thing I want to know is rate of fall. Because a lot of times the faster something falls or the faster you reel it through the water, you're actually triggering the fish to bite. Because not all fish that we catch bite our lures because they're hungry. They're curious, they're challenged, territorial, they just want to grab it. Well, they're not like humans. They can't touch it and smell it and taste it and put it back down. Once they commit to it with their mouth, we the angler catch them and we automatically think they're hungry. That's not always the case. So anyhow, little sliding slip sinker on 6-pound test line, a 3/16, and man, it falls through the water column real fast. Let me show you the most important part of this trick. When you throw an outfit like this on a spinning rod, when it hits the water, leave your bail open and let the bait fall on a slack line, because this is what happens. This slip sinker falls away from the worm. So now when it starts its fall to a sight feeding fish, it looks like this is chasing this. In other words, now you got competition, and that again triggers the personality of the fish. And as this bait's falling like this, I let it get down to a depth zone or wherever I think the fish are. I put my finger on the spool, lift the rod tip up, and shake, 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 shake. Okay, this is what happens underwater. When I lift my rod tip, the worm catches up to the slip sinker. And now I shake, 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 and now when I let it fall, the slip sinker is pegged up against the worm, and now it's got a round spiral fall to it. And a lot of times, that's what I call a directional change. Falling vertical, it catches a slip sinker, and now it starts a spiral. A lot of times that'll trigger it. But that's what I call finesse fishing, and this is kind of like one of my go-to little finesse baits. Again, 6-pound test line fishes a lot better than 8. And don't even think about using this technique with 10. It doesn't work unless you're shaking on the bottom. But first let me kind of walk you through the cast and what I was trying to do. And again, the viewer has to be able to visualize what I'm doing. And remember, I have spent hundreds of hours in a swimming pool studying rate of fall, all the techniques that I use. I like to get a good visual on them, so when I'm out on a body of water, I actually understand what it is the bait's doing. So that's real important. Again, I'm just going to pitch it out. Now, normally I don't cast overhand with a spinning rod. I mean, even I'm out fishing structure, I usually always, that's just the way I've always done it, kind of just flip it out there. It goes a long ways. But now the bait is falling. Vertical fall, the slip sinker is away from the worm, and as it reaches the depth, 20 foot, 30 foot, or 15 or whatever, all I simply do is put my finger on the spool, and I lift up and I shake the rod real good, and I know now that that slip sinker has been caught by the worm. And then I dump my rod, take my finger off the bail, and let the bait keep falling. And when your line goes slack, the fish got it. You flip the bail, crank up, and you catch them. That's the first part of the technique. The other part of the technique is, what if I don't catch a fish on the sink? What if I can't get a suspended fish to come down on the bait? Hey, no big deal. A lot of times these fish will track the bait down to the bottom, and they're sitting there, they're waiting for something to happen. Hey, when it's sitting on the bottom, I lift up and I shake, 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 shake. And all I'm doing is creating a rhythm with the rod tip. And with fluorocarbon line and your finger on the deal, I'm not really pulling the bait, I'm trying to shake it right there where it sits. And then I reel down, pull it a little bit, the rod tip, shake, 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 and then I reel it in, throw it. It's finesse fishing real fast, but yet slow. But if you're looking for rate of fall, sight feeding fish, clear water on man-made reservoirs, smallmouth love this technique too up north. But it's just a great way to fish. I personally caught quite a few fish doing it, and I've won $1 or two on it.